Well, good afternoon. If you're in the Midwest or East Coast, I guess good morning if you're on the West Coast to joining us today. I have a poll that I'm going to go ahead and just launch right away um, that will help us know who is sort of in the room here. Has 4 questions. That's just asking where you coming and joining us from today, your city and town, state. Do you currently offer compost bins to your community residents? Are you a current partner with us, Recycling Connections, or have you joined in the past? Does your community or state have mandatory food scrap diversion or some type of composting law? Go ahead and answer those questions for the poll, and then we can do a snapshot of who is here today. While you do that, I will just introduce myself. My name is Susan Schuller. I'm the Executive Director of Recycling Connections. And we are going to today tell you a little bit more about the group purchase program. I've been with Recycling Connections for 5 years, although this program has been going on for well more than 5 years, about 25 now. Michelle, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, I am Michelle Nieuwenhuis. I'm the program director at Recycling Connections, and it is my second year. So I'm pretty well seasoned now, and I'll be your main contact for the program as it goes on.
And I see 5 of 8 folks have completed the poll. We have someone that just joined as well. So if you're having any troubles with the poll, you can also address some of these questions in the chat, saying which city or town, state you're coming in from. Do you currently offer compost bins in the community residence? Have you participated with Recycling Connections yet? And does your community or state have a mandatory food scrap diversion or composting law? Go ahead and end the poll there and we'll see who's here. So I'm sharing those results on the screen. You should be able to see that. It shows a little bit different on mine. Michelle, I don't think I can see. Oh, wait, we have New York, Wisconsin, New Jersey, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Idaho, all joining us today. So I'm happy we have a nice spread from across the country. Do you currently offer compost bins? Some of you, there's one other, but there's 1 yes and 4 no or not yet. We'll talk more about that and hopefully get you some support to do that. We do have one of our partners on today, so welcome there. And those that aren't partnering yet, we'll talk a little bit more about what our partnership looks like. Does your state, nobody is coming from a state that has a requirement for food diversion yet. So, but you have probably followed the country to show there's a lot of talk of food diversion and food waste diversion laws coming up. And so this is going to be, really, really an important thing for communities to be looking at. I have some slides I'm going to go ahead and share with you to get started and walk through the program. Hopefully address a lot of your questions that you might have. So I'll share a little bit about our background, share about this program, and then we'll take questions. You could easily use the chat throughout this webinar if you would like. Michelle is here to also address or keep tabs on that. Sometimes running a screen, looking at the audience, trying to present is always hard to also monitor the chat. But if Michelle, you just keep an eye on that, let me know if there's something that comes in that people want to ask. Do feel free. This is an informal sort of information session for you today. So we are looking at how we can help divert food waste from landfill, and we call it one backyard at a time. All right, so in food waste, some of the research around what impact would it really do if we encouraged more people to divert food from their landfill. The Institute for Local Self-Reliance a few years ago tried to quantify this a little bit better. And this is the results from Yes in My Backyard, a home composting guide for local government. They did a lot of research on what would be the impact on a community if we were to get more people confident in home composting and diverting their food waste from their own garbage can. So a very localized strategy that you would incorporate into your community food waste goals. The studies indicated that on average per month, households are generating 23 to 83 pounds of food waste. Now, this is a huge variance. The average would be about 50 pounds per household per month. But I do like that this study kept it at a pretty large variance of 23 to 83, just demonstrating that a common household, the average American household, is hard to define. We have different eating habits. We have different numbers of people that live within a household that can vary from 1 to 10 or more. Your cultural differences can vary greatly. How much you eat out and how much you cook at home varies greatly. But on average, when Recycling Connections talks to people, we average this out. We say on average, you're generating 50 pounds per month of food waste. And we're going to talk to you of how to manage at least a large portion of that, maybe not all of it, but a large portion of that, so it does not even need to go to landfill, or some other way of hauling away. How can you manage it on site yourself, giving yourself the confidence and self-reliance to do so? The other interesting statistic that they found in this study was the financial implications of a community implementing and encouraging more people to compost on site at home. Your cost savings as a community can be upward to $72,000 to $250,000 saved in your hauling contract with your hauler if you did not have this added weight that needed to be hauled away. Now, that's going to be variance a lot depending on what your contract is with your haulers, depending on your community. But I do like that we're getting some data here and we're getting some information on the financial implications and also the environment. We often know the environmental implications of encouraging people to keep food waste on site. So managing our waste is really important, and getting the residents to be participants of that. That's what this program is about. We also, in 2024, the National Strategy for Reducing Food Waste, Food Loss and Waste and Recycling Organics, came out from the White House. This is a project collaboration that's been going on. If you followed it for a while, EPA, USDA, and FDA came together, created some recommendations. The White House adopted it in June 2024. It outlines 4 objectives for how communities can address this almost tragedy of food waste in our country, and how do we deal with this? Under objective 3, number C, they specifically indicate the role of decentralizing organic collection and making community scale and home composting available. So it's directly in the report as a study that should be incorporated into any of your food waste goals for your community. There is a full document on this, so you can read more about the information on that, but this kind of fits right in here to it. Now, who's Recycling Connections and why do we care? We're a nonprofit based in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. We started by creating a hauling mechanism for people to collect recyclables, really curbside, but we also put out collection sites throughout our county, and it's expanded to a 3-county area in the end in our early days in 1981. Wisconsin did not have a law for recycling until 1991. So we started in 1981 with collecting recyclables, marketing our recyclables to different markets, and then, having a business. And in the end, we had about 10 employees that were hauling and sorting and marketing our localized collection of recyclables. And then when the law passed in 1991 in the state of Wisconsin, having mandatory recycling, the requirement for recycling shifted to our municipalities. So a lot of our staff started working for the city or the county on recycling, and then we managed to move Recycling Connections into the education and outreach arm of recycling information outreach for our area. We've evolved through the years. So in the 1990s, since we were no longer needing to collect the recyclables, we were doing the education outreach, we started launching a compost bin program. We found a bin that we loved, and we absolutely, we do feel that this bin does have generate a lot of success for home composters. We'll talk a little bit about the bin. The design is really great and unique. And it's not available anywhere else. So that also, we're keeping this on the market, working with the manufacturer. But we launched this in the early or the mid 1990s. We were highlighted in Cycle magazine in 1996 for us doing this community compost bin program. So we've been doing this a long time. Here's our stats through the years. Really, this was a very localized effort for the first, 10 years of doing this. We were working with local counties in and around the Stevens Point area. We're in Portage County, very central Wisconsin, pretty much rural counties. And it was just a small little side project we did because we really loved this bin and we wanted people to have this bin. Then it launched and expanded statewide. We had the opportunity, people in other counties were interested, and we're like, sure, you could join the group purchase. It's going to make it cheaper for everybody to get this compost bin. So we coordinated a statewide one day, sale in a sense, or a group purchase of these bins, and they were distributed throughout the state. And then it was RAM from the Recyclers of Minnesota that came to us, Recycling Association of Minnesota, and they said, can we do it in Minnesota too? Sure, we'll ramp it up to another state. So then we formed a partnership with Minnesota, and the manufacturer came to us a couple of years later and said, can I give you pricing for, shipping it anywhere? And so now here we are today. This opportunity that started in central Wisconsin and what we've been managing, we now have the opportunity to allow other communities throughout the country to have access to this bin. And so we're operating the program very similarly, where we're supporting counties, nonprofits, schools that want to offer this bin to their residents, either as a small little fundraiser, upselling that compost bin price from what you get, or if you don't even need to make any money, you're just trying to get more households composting, then this would be the other reason why you join the program, getting the best purchasing price for a really effective backyard composting bin and distributed it to your community. Now, we're not the only ones that do this. If you might have done some of your heard about other programs like us. This is the difference between the other bins that are out there. There is the Earth Machine, there's the Rain Reserve, and there's the Free Garden Earth. To tell you the truth, I have not looked at what their offer is this year or anything like that. Our bin varies or is different in these ways. We have a little bit larger capacity for the home composter. We like that. We find we can add more brown material than we can in the smaller units. That really gives the nice diversity of the brown to the green, to the carbon to the nitrogen type components that would go into a home composting. You need sort of, with the food scraps, you need to include all the leaves or a large amount of hay or straw that's mixed with it. This gives you the capacity to be able to do that a little bit better than some of the other bins. It has a locking latch that keeps critters out. It's got 2 doors that allows you to take finished compost for the passive composters to just open that front door and take out that high nutrient rich compost that can be added onto flower beds very easily. We are one of the only bins that's made of 100% recycled material, and it's made right here in North America. The manufacturer is actually Canadian, but now we do, their plant is now in the United States. So a really excellent bin. I love the capacity, and it fits really well for the success of the home composter. So a little bit more about the bin itself. This is a better picture of it, showing that it comes in 2 pieces. The one thing about that being 2 pieces is your shipping, we're able to put the bin in a more shippable surface area, if you will. Like it stacks really well. We put a whole pallet of them, 3 high, and I have another picture to show you on that. And so it just comes in a really movable piece that gets into cars when you're doing your compost bin program. It fits in even your smallest vehicles very easily. I would say, well, maybe not very easy, but fits. Um, the back seat, the front seat, if you have any of that opening, this bin will fit right in there. And it comes with resources of how to assemble the bin as well. And it has clips. There's no moving parts on this. It's all plastic pieces, recycled plastic pieces. The clips slide. We have a video that shows kind of the assembly of this bin. And the big thing is this is not in any retail store. In fact, we work with the manufacturer to do one run of this compost bin a year. They do not sell this bin. They like the exclusivity that it's available to communities and nonprofits to offer residents. They're not looking to put this in Walmart or anything like that, that you're going to be competing then against sales in your community. So that's a real benefit. Here's where I show that picture of the pallet. So compost bins come in sets of 18. There's 6 in each of these bundles, and it ends up being about 9 to 10 feet tall total on one skid. A minimum order for a community is 3 of these skids for you to be a delivery site. It doesn't mean that 2 local communities can't partner together to put in one order to meet that 54 bin minimum. But you do need to be, for the efficiency of delivery, ordering a minimum of 54 bins for your community. The next picture here kind of shows what a community looks like when they're getting ready for their pickup. They now have residents coming by, picking up the bin. Either they pre-ordered or they're going to be buying on site, if that's how you want to run your sale. And this is how one community has a large garage that they can be indoors to arrange their sale. This is something to consider when you're a community looking to do a sale. Where would you hold this? Is there an easy in and out for cars to come? It doesn't have to be where they have to come into a garage. Many of our sites just do this outside. Even if it's raining, these bins will be fine. They're going to be outside anyway. But there's just some considerations for you to host your pickup event, for knowing how those community members will come in and pick up their bin or purchase their bin. The additional support we offer for anyone that joins with us, we look at you as you're a partner. You are having the same goals that we do. We simply want more people to learn how to divert their food waste and be successful with it. We don't want experiences to go out there saying, oh, food scraps, I tried it once, it doesn't work. Creating a bin that really creates success, we're excited about this. We are very knowledgeable about our experiences with backyard compost. We've had the same failures as the households getting these bins too. We've had lots of successes. We are there for you. If you wanted us to put on a webinar for your community, we could do that. That is available to us. We have videos on our website as well showing how to prepare that compost bin for winter so I can continue composting all year round. We have instruction videos of how to assemble the bin as well. So we offer that educational support to you. We will, all our partners are given a link to shared materials. So what that means is, okay, you're trying to figure out, I need to tell the community about this. I need to create a flyer. I need to create an ad for a newspaper. We have all of those templates for you that you can brand to your own community, that you can make available. So we've already taken sort of that workload of marketing out of your hands. We don't do the marketing for you because we don't know your outlets. We don't know your news outlets, your newspaper. You know that. You're the expert for your community on those things. We just simply make the designs ready for you. So you just throw what pricing you're going to have for your bin, for your community, and you can send that out. All the pictures of the bins, we have high quality photos of the bins that are various sizes, horizontal or landscape orientated, that you could utilize for free for all of your marketing needs. And then we have an online resources page for homeowners. We're currently adding more to this. So there'll be more by your spring sale or your sale in 2025 that'll be there. And you can always link customers and your residents to that so they can continuously be successful with their composting efforts. All right, so I talked a little bit about some of these, but these are going to be the nuts and bolts of the sale. A minimum order to be a delivery site are 3 pallets, which is 54 bins. The price point, we don't know. We're going to find out. You're going to set the actual price point how you want to set it. Some communities set it at 35 because they've gotten a grant to offset the cost. Most communities are coming in about setting it at $65 per bin. And the price that you actually get the bin is based on our group price. We're expecting the projected price to be between $50 and $55, but we don't know yet. We don't know until all of you have placed your order to say, yes, our community wants 108 bins this year, or our community wants 54, or, and try to figure out even where the bins are all going. We are going to maximize the shipping on this. So we're going to put as many community bin orders in one truck as possible. A full truck is 540 bins in a semi truck. But they're going to stop at all the communities that have ordered and unload their order as they go. So we're looking at efficiency for shipping, and all of that comes down to the end price is expected to be no more than $55 per bin. So if you're looking at your projections, this is kind of the price range you'll want to work with. After we get all of the orders on January 30th is when all the orders are due. Michelle actually was going to be the one that takes all the orders. And then we send that to the manufacturer saying, here's our group purchase. Here's all the locations that it's going to be going. We work out the efficiencies with the trucking company, and we know our final per bin price after the full group order comes in. That's typically February, mid-February, late February. We will know the exact final price for everybody. And then if you wanted to start your sales promotions after that is typically what people do. And then we organize the bin delivery. It's best for everybody to kind of be in and around the late April, early May for delivery site. You're going to tell us when you need those bins by. And we're going to make sure those bins arrive in time for your event. So if you're going to do a big pickup event during Earth Day, we're going to make sure those bins are to your site that week. So you can have all the pallets ready. You can have your volunteers, or you have your staff ready to break those down and have it ready for the pickup time for your residents to come and pick up the bins. If that's how you're going to run your one-day event. If you're not going to do a one-day event and you're just simply like, I want 54 bins, we're going to sell them all year round. We're going to do an on-demand. Like when someone orders, we're going to coordinate their pickup. You could do that too. We've just seen a lot of success in spring sales. We've seen a lot of success in pickup events. So just so you know that. The delivery and transportation costs are all included in that $50 to $55 fee. There's no additional transportation costs for that. So once that price is set, it is set. Then afterward, you will be receiving an invoice. It actually won't come from Recycling Connections. It's coming directly from the manufacturer. They'll send you the invoice for your order, whether it was 54 bins or 108 or more than that. And it's going to be on the price point of, $55 per bin for the 54 bins total. You'll get an invoice to be given that. You will not get this invoice up front. You'll get this invoice after your bins have been shipped, and you'll have 30 days to pay. So what works really well for communities is they don't need to fork out the money for the bins in upfront. Most of our communities, or many of our communities, say, we're going to run our sales events. Some even do pre-sales where they're collecting the funds. So when they do get the invoice, they've already run their community event for their sales. So they have the money to go ahead and pay that invoice without any additional funds needing to be allocated from your community budget. So this can be a pretty, if organized well, and if you can sell those bins, you could have this where there's no funds even needed to run your sale. That's the idea. This is for nonprofits. This is for communities. The whole idea is to get people to have a very good bin, to be successful in start composting and being successful with it. And then you go ahead and set the price for your bins. Like I said, communities are setting their price point at about $65 to $67. It's going up a little bit just because everything is going up. So we are pushing closer to 70 in some communities. One community did 80 or 85. It's just what they needed to get. That's just what the profit margin they wanted, and they thought they could sell at that. So it's up to you what you want to do. Some people include a workshop with it, so they charge $80 to $100, but as part of the workshop fee for this composting workshop, you also walk away with this amazing bin. So that's sometimes incorporated into that as well. Any questions there before I go into, was there any pricing yet? I have to just pause for a second. A board member just came in and she's picking up some pails. So just had to pause for a second there. Michelle, any chat questions in the chat at all for this?
Not yet, no.
Okay, then I'm going to keep going. One offer we do. There has been some feedback from our partners saying we're community employees. We can't handle money. We're not allowed to. That all has to go through our purchasing department. We're not allowed to do that. There's restrictions of us handling money at all. So we now will, if you would like, we can run your sale for you. More or less, we become your storefront for you. We set up a specific page. This is an example of Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. We've worked with them the last 3 years now, I believe it is. And we set up their store. They give us the text. We brand it for their page and or for their city. And then they do the promotions to get people to come and pre-order the bin. Then from March to their delivery site, usually May, they have an early May delivery site typically, or late April, I sometimes forget. Sun Prairie will say, okay, you have sold 50 of your 54 bins. And then we'll close the store when we get close to all of the bins being allocated. Or it could be that only 20 bins have been pre-sold. Then they are going to know they're going to have some inventory on hand that they'll have available. You will need to purchase for any of those bins that are not sold. You're still needing to be responsible for them, but we're going to pre-sale we're going to create that pre-sale for you so you can start selling those bins. People can pre-purchase online, and then you have your 1-day pickup where all your residents will come pick up the bins that they have pre-purchased. And that has been working really well. Our price point for the bins are going to be $68 for that. So that becomes the price point. We really, these are really for communities that are going to sell more than 54 bins. We don't typically do this for communities for that, but so there is a minimum order for this service, but it is a service that we can run that sale for you, send you the customer report, and then you know who's going to be picking the bins up. We'll even set up the signup.com page for you. So we'll actually work with the residents to have them tell us what time they're going to be picking it up, and you get that as part of the report, the customer report with the sign up, explaining when residents are expected to come. Again, we're trying to remove the barrier of not being able to take funds or anything like that. And we assume the role of doing the sale for you. In the end, your only responsibility is helping market it locally. And any bins remaining, you will have to purchase those final bins that do not get pre-sold. So it is a nice option that many communities have found to be helpful.
We do have a question, Susan.
Yeah.
As a government agency, I have to provide 3 written quotes to meet our purchasing policy. Will you be able to provide a written quote when you finalize the price?
Yes. So we're a group purchase program. That makes it hard, but yes, we will, if we're doing that pre-bidding option, we'd probably be giving you that bid price of $55. I can kind of tell you right now. We can't guarantee that's gonna be, can't guarantee a final price until February, but let's just say, okay, we'll put a bid in, it's 55. If it goes lower, you will get the benefit of the group purchase price there. So yeah, we can give a bid. That's kind of a new arena for us being a small nonprofit. But yes, we can create we would love to hear more about your RFP for that, and we would love to put in a proposal for you to consider. The kitchen catcher compost pails is something that's fairly new. We know a nice collection pail in the kitchen is just complements your backyard composting. How are you going to take your food scraps out there? It works fine in a ice cream bucket, those plastic ice cream gallon buckets. But if anyone that has done that, and many of us that have composted, we started with a plastic compost pail and we quickly changed our plastic thing because that just assumes the smell of the food scraps itself, and over time they don't withstand that. Anything plastic will absorb that smell, and it just becomes a really non-desirable item in your kitchen. um, and so we have, and I mean, we always have had a stainless steel pail since the 1990s. This pail is now something you can offer to your residents anytime. This is not a group purchase. We have them on site. You can order as many as you want. We don't pallet them. We ask that you order in groups of 9 because that's how many fit in our standard boxes we have in our office. But let's say you wanted 12. We would send 12. It would be 2 boxes of 6. We'll make it work. So the different things with the pails, I want to encourage you to consider the pails to go with your compost bin sale. Or if you just want pails to have and offer to residents, that can happen at any time throughout the year. They're $19 per pail plus shipping to wherever it goes. That would be separate. Most of the folks are buying them at that 19, paying for shipping and selling them at 25. They retail at $40 for a stainless steel pail this size, and they don't come with this beautiful design. So that's a little plug I'll put in for that one. I love this pail. I've had mine for 20 years. It has never rusted. It is really, I don't know, it looks nice on my kitchen counter. So this is a picture from my kitchen counter. And I love it. It's just the way to go for composting. Again, you're trying to get people to be successful with composting. Encouraging them do the stainless steel over the plastic really does help success. Ceramic pails are pretty good too. They're just breakable. So over time, that's the more bigger concern with ceramic pails. Um, Stainless steel is what we recommend. We offer probably one of the cheapest stainless steel pails that are out there that you can even find. So that's an option. You can find some pails, but they don't come with lids. We've tried. And so this is really a nice complimentary pail that can go with your sale. Just a nice testimony. Again, I took Rose Daly from Sun Prairie. They were just they're a real pleasure to work with. Our partners, we really consider are like partners and friends from different parts of the country that we enjoy working with. She was just speaking to the pre-sale option in this quote where she writes, the pre-sale option, which took a lot of burden off the Sun Prairie staff. Recycling Connections worked directly with our community members to place their orders, answer questions, and communicate pickup information. The week of our pickup event, our bins were delivered on time, and Recycling Connections provided us with detailed lists of everyone who had placed the order. Overall, the organization of pre-sale was seamless. Recycling Connections team was incredibly responsive throughout the entire process, offering support. And that's what we're doing. We're your partner. We want you to be successful in all your sales, and we're here to support you to do that. Otter Tail in Minnesota, they they had a grant, so they had to really measure the impacts of this compost bin program. And I love the data that she collected here with their distribution event. So they were able to give compost bins and pails at a discounted rate to their community as part of a grant program initiative they had going on. And they partnered with us, and they required their residents to report how much food scraps were diverted in a period of time. And in that, participants self-reported that the number of pails that they received was over 11,000 pails of food collected and put in their compost bins. And they estimated over 40,000 pounds kept out of the garbage. So they're measuring impacts, and they had it go the step further of really measuring impacts. Collective impact for more people composting, keeping it on site at home is just really the biggest success you can do. And it's hard to measure because we're not in everybody's home, thank goodness. But at the same time, you need that participatory action for us to show real impacts. And there's examples like this out there where you have communities that are taking this data. You can do estimates for your impacts based on studies like this that have already been done, that allows you to report back to your community members of, if we get this many people composting, they're diverting 50 pounds of waste on average per household. That impacts it. You can start calculating that on an annual basis and show how much food is being diverted by good practices of successful home composting. That I think is really valuable for all of us to think about. And with that, we have our website that goes right to the community bin sales program. The link is right there if you'd like to join, or if you just want to call Michelle after this and talk to her further about that. It's a real simple process to sign up. You simply click the interest form. It does ask, I believe, Michelle, you can correct me on this because you're the one that I think updated this form, does tell you or ask how many bins are you potentially interested in, but you'll confirm that number by January 30th. So let's just say I'm thinking about, 72 bins this year for our community. It doesn't lock you into that. We will still follow up, confirm that final order, get the shipping, get the billing information from you, figure out who's your contact for delivery receiving, because often it's different than who's receiving billing. And so we'll have you complete a total form before we do a submittal of order. Right, is that correct? I'm seeing you nod, Michelle. So I said that correctly.
You did. Yes, you did.
Okay, good. Our contact information, which you might already have, it's on the website as well, or you can contact us here. Best way to reach us is by email, but we didn't put our phone number up, but we can put the phone number in the chat or something for this too. And we're always here to kind of talk through how to be successful with your sales. Obviously, we have a lot of experience with different communities and different community models of how to really encourage the sales and help you be successful with getting this into the hands of your residents. I'm going to stop sharing there. And if you have any questions, we're happy to open up the room and just have a conversation, answer questions that you might have if you have any now. Otherwise, you have our contact information. You can follow up afterwards. Any questions?
Becky
Oh,
has
please
a
unmute.
question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for the explanation. Is it just a simple pallet jack that can move the pallet?
Very good question. The pallet jack will move the pallet of pails, not a problem, or of bins, not a problem. But to unload it from the truck itself, you either need access to a loading dock, or you'll need a forklift available to help unload that. The forklift will not come automatically in the truck. they might have a pallet jack in the truck, but that's it. But still to unload, we can't guarantee they will have a lift on the truck itself. So we require that loading dock or an access to a forklift.
And actually, I still have another question, but related to the one I just asked. Can you give us the square footage needed? Like the pallet takes up X square feet and the height, and you said it looks like the maximum you can stack them is too high. So if you could share that. I'm just someone in an office where like I have zero access, direct access to this type of thing. So like I'm gonna have to be convincing somebody to use their person power, their machines, and their storage space, and they're gonna ask
Yep.
me exact stuff like square footage and things. So, and if that's something could just be emailed or shared later, I don't want to bog the group down.
Yeah.
My other question was, if we wanted to kind of discount it a little bit for people, and let's say we went for the minimum of 54 bins and we contributed, I'm just throwing out a number, $540. So basically we are prepaying $10 for each bin and having you guys, we would have to, like someone else asked, because we're not allowed really to handle cash anymore. And just to keep it simple, we would probably have you set up a web page where then people would be getting $10 toward the cost. So the
Correct.
cost would be lower than the whatever 65. Like we would, or we wouldn't want to make money at all, but we also would want to maybe incentivize with say $10 or 15.
We absolutely do that. So what we have done with Door County is one that comes to mind. I know Clare County did this too. Door County in Wisconsin had funding that they had, and they wanted to discount, I think it was $10, just like you're saying, it was $50 or $55 to incentivize that. What we did was set the sale price for their store at $55. So residents, we just collected the $50 or $55. And then in the end, we invoice you for the number of bins at that discounted rate. And then you send us that difference.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's not a problem at all.
And then what happens with the minimums though, if you guys are running the website?
Yeah, so hopefully you would sell out. The idea is that you would sell all the bins. Sun Prairie did not sell out all the way last year. They had 10 bins, roughly 10 bins remaining. So what happens is they had to purchase those bins at $55 per bin. They were billed for that. And then they just sold those bins the rest of the year. So they had to go through their purchasing department at that time to collect the 10 customers in the end that came through the rest of the year. They could also use those for donating if they wanted to assume the costs and then donate it to schools or parks.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Did we mention anything about a compost crank or aerator?
We didn't. So we don't sell additional accessories like the aerator or the crank with the bin sale. You can if you would like. We don't do additional items like that, but that's easily a recommendation that you can offer to your residents to get at a garden center or somewhere else. We don't handle the additional sales of accessories.
And then one last question, how soon will the saved video from this be available and where will it be located? I can actually answer this one. It will be available shortly after this meeting. It'll have to finish uploading to my computer, and then I can email it out this afternoon.
Yeah. Any last minute questions for us? Well, again, we look at us as a partner for you. So if you are looking to do this in your community, we're here to support you. We want you to be successful because that's furthering our mission even further. So we really appreciate you taking the time, considering this for your residents and starting a program like this. So there's a lot of successful models out there for you. Michelle and I will stay on the line in case anyone wanted to just stick back and chat with us a little bit further. But otherwise, this meeting has adjourned, and you're free to move about your lunch hour or anything else in the afternoon that you have going on. Or our Idaho friend, get to lunch, right? Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.